Hi, and welcome to On the Spot. My name is Ronnie Wiley. To my left, we had her on about a year ago. Sydnee Jobe, you are the media person now. It's your first, your second full year.
Yeah, I'm in my second full year right now at CHS. So yeah,
lots of changes. And those who are watching the show, if you watch any of our sporting events, starting with football, you have a big hand in that. Tell us how that happened.
So luckily, John here at Channel 3 and Justin are super helpful with the program.
Right.
And we had been kind of talking about maybe collaborating some more and bringing kids in and having them run the broadcast for football and basketball and any other sport that we decide to broadcast. And we kind of had been talking about that for a while. And then once I got the job, we talked about it some more.
Right.
And we kind of like dipped our feet in last year, did a couple of broadcasts.
Right.
And then this year we went full force. So now my students
make us
produce
look
the
good.
whole thing. Yeah.
Make Fran and I look good, which is a very daunting task. They should all get an A. They should all get an A. Also, if you're watching the show, you'll see SSN on the logo. Tell us what that's all about.
Spartan Sports Network. That's just something that John mostly came up with.
Oh, don't give him that much credit.
He gets a lot of credit.
He does.
He gets a lot of credit, yeah.
So Spartan Sports Network, now we got the kids, and mainly are they all seniors, or do you have any underclassmen that are working?
I have quite a few underclassmen, actually. I have a few juniors who have been working on it and kind of have been learning the ropes from the seniors, and then I have a sophomore who's been coming in and working as well.
Yeah,
so,
I know that kid. Nate, he's a good boy. He helped me do soccer not too long ago. So again, you've been doing this now for 2 years, but you got your start in Rushville, but before that, teaching-wise in Rushville. Before that, you were working in the van with us.
Yeah.
Now, I don't remember how much we talked about last time you were on about your history of getting into behind the scenes, but kind of recap us a little bit and refresh us on, what got you started with the media and the behind the scenes and being the brains of the operation.
I actually got my start from CHS today. So I took it when Glow was the teacher, and
never thought, did you, that you'd ever take his place one day?
I thought about it if I wanted to come back. I figured at some point I'd want to come back. It'd be cool that I could teach and everything. But I started at CHS today. Glow kind of, saw something in me and had me doing all kinds of different stuff. I did quite a lot of behind-the-scenes work, but he wanted me to be the weather girl. He wanted me to be a meteorologist. But
for real, not just on the show. For a career.
For real. He thought I should do that. But I found that I really, really liked doing behind-the-scenes work. I was really interested in editing and camera work, so I went to Ball State. I majored in video production, and then I ended up getting involved with Ball State Sports Link and did sports broadcasting. So I was doing production for college games, multiple sports, and some of my stuff had been on ESPN and stuff like that, because Ball State Sports Link works with ESPN3, and then they work for March Madness with Turner Sports. Well, what used to be Turner Sports, but yeah.
What is it now?
I can't remember, but they switched names. But yeah, so that's kind of where I got my start and got behind the scenes production work.
So sports was the big catalyst for you, and here you are with the kids at sports. Obviously, there's more to production, although I think sports is probably because there's no script. It's on the. Do you have kids that strictly just want sports? I know Nate talks about he wants to do sports.
Yeah.
Or do they want to do other areas of the industry?
Most of my students want to do other areas of the industry. But, I have a few that are super interested in sports, but the sports broadcasting side of things, when it comes to CHS Today and the Spartan Sports Network, kind of prepares them for what a live broadcast is like in general. So, any experience that you get doing any of that is good experience.
Oh, sure it is.
You don't have to go into sports just to be a part of it, But if you are interested in going into sports and you really enjoy that field, then, definitely that's something that you should be involved in,
Now, you got to teach them all more than just, the whole scope. So what other projects are you working on with the kids?
We work on a ton of projects. So most of the time, every day, I have kids go out and do news packages on stuff around the school as well as in the community. And then I have a video production class who does a variety of work. So they do news packages, they do music videos, they do commercials, they do in-depth interviews, which is what their current project is right now.
In-depth.
Yeah, so the in-depth interview, they're trying to tell a story, tell someone's story. So, which is really important when it comes to video production, is being able to tell a story with your work. So that's what they're working on right now. They're going to work on a short film next semester, and so they do all kinds of stuff. No, not yet. They don't even know what they're going to do.
So they got to write it. So this is all from the ground up.
Yeah, they got to write it. They have to cast it. They have to go and do location shooting, stuff like that. So yeah, they have to do all of it.
Did you guys do this when you were in school? I mean, was it this in depth?
Yeah, I've added a couple more projects that Glow didn't have us do, and I've kind of changed up how that class specifically works. They didn't used to do multiple news packages, but now, while they're working on a large project, they're also required to do news packages during that project as well.
So are seniors only? It's only seniors for CHS Today, right?
Only seniors for CHS Today.
Is that just on air, or is it behind the scenes seniors as well?
It's the class itself is just seniors, period. So any CHS Today broadcast only has seniors running it and anchoring. So yeah. So
the juniors, they're still part of the class, but they're working up to that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, my juniors right now can run CHS Today. I prepare them as sophomores. Their final in that class as a sophomore in the intro class is to run the show. So juniors right now can run the show if I need them to run a show.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But your junior year, you just kind of like work on bigger projects and kind of build
your resume?
Yeah, build your resume a little bit.
Yeah, because I mean, this is something that you can take with you, make your own reel if you want to pursue this to get into a good college internship. I mean, I think Matt McClutchan, that's kind of what he did.
Yeah, that's exactly what you should be able to do. You should take your work and be able to already start your reel. I know at Ball State, when I got into SportsLink, they do like to get into certain clubs, you have to have like a resume, and you have to have a reel, and you have to have an interview. To get into SportsLink, that's what they ask you to do. So I use some of my stuff from high school to get into SportsLink.
But you prepare the kids for all that too. I mean, you do mock interviews with them, and
I don't do mock interviews with them, but I have started a new thing where I bring them in and we kind of like go over their work on a one-on-one basis, and I kind of tell them what they need to work on and stuff. So we start doing stuff like that, so they're better prepared.
Awesome. You know, we probably I don't know if I've ever been into your guys' studio.
You should come in. It completely changed.
Check it out. Yeah. I mean, I might have walked by but I was never in that class, even though I wanted to be. I just didn't have the grades. And that's something that's important too. Grades are very important. This is not some slack job that we can have fun. I mean, this is something that's very serious because this is your career. And this could be somebody else's career. It's not like a math class you got to take where you might not be in math. This is somebody's career.
Yes, exactly. I expect my kids to get good grades. I also understand that there are certain kids who don't get good grades who might be fantastic in editing. You know what I mean? So I kind of really, really rely on teacher recommendations when they apply for the class, because you have to apply to get in.
Wow.
Yeah, you have to apply to get in, and we hand out applications to kids through their English teachers, and you have to apply to get in, get 2 recommendations from teachers, turn it in. I pick based off of that and fill 2 classes. So.
But that's kind of tough though the picking process.
Yeah, it can be. But luckily, Glow already had it set up in that form anyway, in that format. So kids are used to it, and they expect to have to apply and work for it. So most of the time, the kids that I get are the kids who already know that, so I don't really have to have a hard time choosing. I'm like, oh, okay, you got good grades, you're a good kid, and your teachers recommended you.
Have you ever had a kid who didn't make it, but then the next year applied? I mean, when can a kid apply for that?
They apply their freshman year during the second portion of the semester.
That's the only time?
Yeah, that's the only time. That's the only time you apply for it. So,
so they can't go, hey, I made a home video. Can I show you my work from home?
No.
Oh, bummer.
No, we don't do that. But there are juniors that take the class when they have time. Because sometimes now with the type of early college, high school credits that they're looking for. Some kids don't have time, so.
Well, I mean, I would encourage the kids to, I mean, this is a fantastic program.
Thank you.
I mean, a fantastic program. I wish I would have taken it more serious. I moved here my junior year of high school, and I mean, I wanted to be in radio, I wanted to do all those things, but I didn't care about my grades. And then, of course, Sean Compton, he and I started radio together. You know, we didn't care about we were slackers at the time. And I tell you, it would have been a lot easier, and I would encourage kids, if you want to do this, to definitely, without question, focus on your grades, because, man, I wish I'd have had that experience.
Yeah.
You know, to be on CHS today. I mean, it took a little longer. It was a longer path for me, a little harder. To have the back end of you, to have the back end of the history of CHS today. It's got to be huge for these kids.
Yeah. I don't think the kids realize how many actual people have come from CHS today who are currently working in broadcasting or production.
Right.
And there's quite a large amount. In a way, I've kind of shown them that by we name our computers after alumni who are working in broadcasting.
Right.
So the kids are like, why do we have names on the computers? I'm like, these are all alumni who are currently working in broadcasting.
That was where you were.
Yeah, and we have contacted quite a few of them and are doing interviews with them this year because it's our 50th. So yeah.
All right. Yeah. That's outstanding.
Yeah.
You know, Betsy Ross, and I don't remember if I've interviewed her before, but she's from here, of course, big media, her, and then, you know, got the privilege of interviewing Glow, which was great. You know, this was the first in the country. So this is history. I mean, you had to take over that mantle of that. What do you see in the future for your program?
What do I see in the future?
You got to be on. I mean, you got to be on the pulse of. I mean, your job is not. I mean, you got to be on the pulse of new technology and everything.
Yeah. Keeping it updated as much as possible is really important. And personally, I don't want to get stuck in a rut where I don't change the program at all, and it just runs exactly the same always. I think for the future, I just need to make sure that I'm up to date on technology. We keep our equipment updated, and we keep our format updated, so it's not always the same. And we're always adding in new things as much as possible when the time comes. Currently, I'm just trying to get SSN working the way I want it to work.
Yeah.
And hopefully in the future that is rolling just fine as well.
Oh,
so.
it's going to. I tell you, we did the first broadcast. Well, I think have we been SSN during football?
Yes, we did SSN during football. Yeah, it was all kids.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. I guess it would be all kids. But I think it was the first time I noticed it was at the girls' game.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know if I noticed it before.
Because you don't see them during football.
Yeah, well, I don't. Really. Yeah, because they're up on the roofs and everything. I did. But I'm sorry, as far as the graphics, I'm very impressed so far with what the kids have done. Of course, we've had King and Queen. We had royalty during homecoming, which was nice. Now, going back with you in the beginning, I think if I remember the first time we interviewed. You know, a lot of people think that when you're in this career that you got to have the love for it from the very beginning of, you know, when you like from birth.
Yeah.
But that wasn't your case, right? If I remember right.
No, I had no idea what I wanted to do when I was a kid, really. And when I took Glow's class, I was like, this is pretty cool. I kind of like this. I can be creative with it if I want to be creative with it, you know. And I enjoyed. I just enjoyed the atmosphere once I got into Glow's class. So that's kind of when I decided that I was going to go into it as a career. So some kids do really love it automatically, and they just want cameras and they want to film things. Yeah, and then some people just fall into it. So it's not, you don't have to have your mindset at the beginning.
Who recommended you for the class?
My mom thought I should do it. She just kept pushing me to take the class. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll take the class, whatever. So
now, again, that's something you think, or you would think that the kids would have to have an interest in it. Do teachers play a role with, hey, I think this, you know, Tommy or Gina or whomever, they might be interested. Do you talk to these kids about applying?
Yeah, so we did something new this year at registration. We sat at registration. And,
you were there.
Yeah, and when kids came by, we kind of like explained what we do, and we wrote down freshmen' names of who would be interested, so I could actually speak with them and see if anybody's interested in stuff. So we wrote down kids' names, and this year we are going to app them. Per se, so they will get first dibs on applications, and then other kids will get handouts because they signed up during registration. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so we're trying to be a little bit more noticeable with the younger ones, and I've offered them to be able to come in and take a look whenever they're interested, see if they want to take it, stuff like that. But really, it's just making sure they understand what we do, and that television isn't as scary as you assume it is. Just because there are cameras doesn't mean that the whole world is judging you, because kids are really worried about being on camera these days.
Hey, listen, I've got this carried with me. I mean, there you go. I mean, it does add 30 pounds. I'm actually 30 pounds lighter. It takes me back to my youth. I grew up in West Carrollton, Ohio, until I moved over here my junior year. I had my senior year twice. But back then they had a radio station, and that's what I wanted to get into was radio, and they only let seniors do that. But I remember when I left, years later, I'd heard that they were developing their media program, kind of expanding a little bit, but they kind of went into the junior highs and let the kids, do that. Is that something you would maybe do in the future?
Oh, definitely. We've talked about it. My seniors and I have actually spoken about maybe taking a day to go show them what we do, like bring some behind the scenes videos and some like testimonial videos, stuff like that, and show it to the 8th graders or incoming freshmen, and that way they kind of have an idea of what's going on, and they can hear from kids that it's not as scary as it looks.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, it's not. People always assume that media is right here in front of the camera. Yeah. That you got to be this, and it's not. There's so much more. When we got, I mean, how many kids do we have during the football and basketball games? A lot.
Plenty, yes.
Plenty. I mean, I would put you on the spot and tell you to name them all, but I'm sure you may forget. And I forget some of their names, but they do. They're so valuable. There's so much to do. Switching, where you switch the shots. Well, that's director, right? Or do you do both?
There's separate jobs, but in our truck,
you don't have that much
our
room.
Switcher and our director are the same.
Yeah, the same thing. Yeah. And I forget who it was at the girls' game, but they're talking in my ear, and I loved it. It was like, hey, they're really getting into it, which is nice. Again, there's more to it than just being on camera.
Yeah. Now, your senior year, I do require you to get on camera. Yeah, you got to be on camera for announcements. I got kids who definitely don't like being on camera, but they do it anyway because that's what I asked them to do. Yeah. But by the time you're a senior, you almost don't care what anybody thinks anymore.
Right, yeah, you're a senior. You're the head of the class.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter as much. No. You still, some kids still get nervous, but they push through and they're fine. I think it's better to have you do that and kind of grow as a person.
Well, I think so. You got the teleprompters now, which I think can add, it can loosen you up, but also scary at the same time because you're looking right at the camera.
Oh, yeah.
Even though you see the words on the teleprompter. Yeah. How long have you had that?
I think 3 years. Yeah.
I was going to say, I thought it's.
Yeah, this is the third year we've had teleprompters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Glow's really nice to me, and he was trying to update some things as much as he could, so he updated teleprompters for me.
Oh, I love teleprompters.
They're nice. It's helpful. It's a lot helpful.
Yeah, but again, at the same time, you're looking at the camera, and you hope that teleprompter goes quickly enough or slow enough for you.
Oh, yeah. The kids argue a lot between each other. They're like, slow down.
Right, yeah, I can't read that fast.
Yeah, I can't read that fast.
Yeah, or you're reading too fast.
Yeah.
So now you produce this every day.
Yes.
I mean, this is an everyday thing. You get the news from the teacher, and you said community things, which interests me, because I don't remember that when I was at school, that they did much community. So you guys go out in the community?
Yeah, if we can, if there's something going on interesting right now. I have kids right now, they're doing an in-depth project on mousies, actually. So,
oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so that's possibly something that we'll be showing on our show and everything.
Oh, wow, I'm interested.
News packages on things that are happening around the community. When spring comes around, they're going to do one on the community garden.
Oh, right,
We've gone to the animal shelter before, done stuff with the animal shelter. Just literally anything that's going on in the community, we'll try and get something on if we can.
And how much, I mean, do the teachers, when it comes to the in-school stuff and it's, they're doing the announcement, do the teachers just write something for them to read, or do you make them rewrite everything, just get the basic information?
Oh, they have to rewrite it.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
No. Yeah. We don't just take what the teachers give us. They have to rewrite everything in their own words and in broadcast writing format. So, they learn that when they're sophomores, and then I expect them to do it as juniors and seniors. So
you talk about that. So the seniors are the ones who, so there's no writing from the sophomores or juniors for the broadcast.
No, juniors write for the broadcast. Juniors write for the broadcast. They create videos for the broadcast, but they don't run the broadcast or are on the broadcast.
Right.
So seniors, second period is news prep, and that's how we prepare for the show. It's our pre-production class, and then third period is CHS Today, and that's the show itself. So the kids get in there, we update the teleprompter, we update the graphics, we make sure all of our videos are in our TriCaster, and then we run the show. We do run-throughs and then go live.
So this is almost a half-day thing for these kids in some cases.
I have a large amount of students who are constantly in my classroom.
Don't you have math and science?
Especially when they're seniors. A lot of my seniors take a class with me, like a filler class with me, and they're like technically like my teaching assistant. So they just take a filler class with me. So like Latarian, one of our guys on SSN, he is in my room second through fourth. So 3 periods a day. And then I got Colin, who also works on SSN in first through third.
Wow. So these kids, I mean, you got to love it.
It's nice. I build, I believe, great relationships with my students because we're around each other so much.
And they need that. They need that springboard into the real world when it comes to broadcasting, because broadcasting has changed so much. Everything's on the spot, happening right now. You got to rip, it used to be write and rip, and now it's everything right. I think it was write and rip. I don't know. Anyway, but you know what I'm talking about, the rip and read or whatever. Help me out here, Sydnee. But so these kids develop relationships with you, develop relationships in the community, and you've only been here 2 years now, but you were in Rushville. And I remember at the Rushville game this year, you had one of the quarterback. I think the quarterback came up and said, "Miss Jobe." They remember. So you made an impact. I mean, so you want to help the kids and give them good. Have you had to do a reference check for anybody in college?
I wrote plenty of reference letters.
Do you have your
recommendation letters? Yeah, kids are like, "Hey, I need to apply for a job. Can you be on my reference list?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." But yeah, even at Rushville, like, it's not my community, but I built really great relationships with those kids there, and next year will be the first year that I don't have any of my former students. It'll be really weird, but this year it was nice. At the War on 44, a bunch of the Rushville kids came up and said hi, and yeah,
that's gotta feel good though, that you have. I mean, more than probably any other teacher, because this will eventually end up being a career for most of them, or at least you hope so. So you've got to have, and they need to have that relationship with you. When you got into this, or when you were first back, when you were, okay, Mom, I'm going to do it, and now here you are, but when you were back into it, when did it click for you? When did you, you said eventually you realized, what was it that you thought, this is it, this is what I'm going to do? Was there any particular project?
Nah, honestly, not really. There wasn't a particular project or anything like that. I didn't really have a moment. The more I worked on, the more I liked it, the more I was like, I'm going to do this, I think. So,
was it the first year?
Yeah, I really liked the intro class when I was a junior. And then as a senior, though, is when it was like, okay, this is it. So,
And on the flip side of the coin, I'm sure there are probably students who think, I'll go into it. My mom's my mom did it, or my dad did it. and then I don't like it.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. Like, I've had kids who take the intro class and they're like, yeah, this isn't for me.
Right, yeah.
Totally fine. If it's not for you, it's not for you. It's not a big deal. But I suggest you try it.
I agree with that. It is a fun time. Seeing the kids, especially LT when he got to do the JV games last year, him and Max, they were so excited. Just to see that excitement of them, I think they looked more prepared than me. They looked a lot sharper than me.
I forced them to be super prepared.
John, but they did, and they'll grow, and the excitement to see them excited, and the way that they talk afterwards, and not just the people on camera, those behind the scenes. They're excited about the shots, and they have great shots.
I had Chris Taylor from Ball State. He's my former professor, a good friend of mine. I had him and one of his students come in last year and have a talk with him, and he was complimenting me on how awesome it is that these kids get to do sports broadcasts and how important it is that they get this experience, and how much better they will be once they step foot on a college campus just for having the experience. So they might curse me right now because it's a lot of work.
Sure.
But those who are going into it are going to realize that it's a good thing.
Did you curse Glow anytime? Were you like, oh, come on, man?
No, yeah. I don't. He didn't make me do near as much as I make these kids do. I feel a little bad about it. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, we have a game this weekend and next weekend and the weekend after that, and we have 2 games the week after
that.
That's right.
So
That's right. We're going to have to do all this stuff. And they're just like, that's a lot.
Yeah, but it's fun.
Yeah.
It really is. It's fun doing that and bringing it to life and watching, knowing, because I've done some behind-the-scenes stuff when I was a kid, not here, just mainly the radio stuff, and to know that, you know, when they do a rebroadcast, hey, I'm the one who helped, you know, put this on and make Sam Harvey sound good.
And they're on, this is truly professional level experience.
Sure. Absolutely. So,
so the fact that they're getting professional level experience before they are professionals is fantastic.
Well, I mean, you know, it's award winning too, and so and that's what's important to remember is that you know you know, it's the kids. But my goodness, I'd put our broadcast, and I'm not talking about just Fran. I take Fran and I out of the equation. Yeah. And I think Fran would agree with me. Take them out of the equation. It's these kids that make it. I mean, I thought our football was a whole lot better than it had been in ages. And you guys work really hard, and you know, it's the camera angles, it's the work, it's the communication that you guys have. I mean, I'm impressed.
Thank you.
I'm proud to be part of the Spartans Sports Network that we'll give you credit on the air for. Come on, man. As we get ready to wrap up here, Sydnee, you know, again, I'm excited. I mean, I'm very excited about this season. So when you watch every game this year, whether it be on TV3 or on YouTube, it's her kids. It is her kids. There may be some kids out there watching now. Again, we talked about the junior high kids, maybe even kids that are even a little bit younger than that. What advice would you give them if they are pursuing this, but they can't wait until, you know, 9th grade?
They can't. Well, I mean, it's a sophomore year thing, so they gotta wait. Once you hit high school, if you want to do any of this, come talk to me, and I will throw you in sports, the Spartan Sports Network immediately, and you will hit the ground running. So if you are interested at all, just come talk to me. No matter what, I'll listen and I'll see what I can do for you. And then if it's outside of school, then just get a camera and film your ideas. You know, do whatever you want.
Yeah, have fun with it. Now, the Spartan Sports Network clearly has to be your students, correct? They can't be somebody who, you know, hey, I'm not in your class, but now I'm a junior and I'm too late. Can I be a part of it? They got to be part of the class, correct?
Yeah, you got to be part of the class. If you are a sophomore, junior, or senior, you need to be inside my classroom to be part of this. I don't just let anybody come hang out with us, you know.
Right. I feel like it's part of a good, cool clique. I like it.
Yeah. And Nathan, who is a sophomore, told me the very first day that he wanted to be in sports broadcasting. I was like,
yeah, that's right.
I got something for you.
We did the soccer game.
Yeah, and now he's doing way more than any other sophomore's ever done before. He's constantly in my room at any free moment that he has to just work on anything and everything. So even though the intro class is just for sophomores and we don't really do a whole lot, if you tell me you want to do something, all right, you can do it.
Yeah. You show that hunger.
Yeah.
Show that hunger and that desire, and Nate's doing it. Again, I can't thank you enough for being on the show again, and the kids, bringing them on. Wonderful kids. I wish I wish I'd remember all their names. I'm not going to put you on the spot. There's quite a few kids, but if you're at the bowl and you see us, the cameras, come on up, say hi to the kids. You know, thank them for their hard work. I do. I mean, they're wonderful kids, and catch Spartan Sports Network all season long with Spartan basketball, boys and girls. We got swimming.
Yeah, we'll do swimming as well.
Yeah, swimming and maybe anything else. What were you going to say before I cut you off?
Oh, I was going to say, especially boys basketball, we got some interesting and very cool stuff happening. So.
Ooh, I don't even know what that is, and I'm excited. I'm very excited. All right, Sydnee. Teshlog Jobe, or to the kids, just Miss Jobe, right?
Yeah, Mrs. Jobe. Sometimes
you don't got
all kinds of nicknames.
Joby?
They call me Jobe. They call me Joby. They call me Adobe Joby, which is really entertaining.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. I do. I shouldn't tell you that. Anyway, catch us Behind the Scenes on SSN, and I'll catch you next month on The Spot.